Hi guys. So it's important that you read this part right here if you don't know what a tax deduction is, if you don't know what taxable income is, or if you don't know what a tax credit is. I'm going to let you read that. This is your taxable income, and it's broken up into brackets is what we call it. And then these are the tax rates. So this is asking you that if your taxable income is $55,000, how much tax do you owe? So you find 55,000 on here. So it falls in this category, this bracket right here. That means they have to pay 30%. So you take $55,000 and you multiply that by 0.3, and that means that this person has to pay $16,500 in taxes. Make sure you put the dollar sign in there. Question 2, it says that if your total income for the year is $55,000 and you have a $10,000 tax deduction, how much income do you owe? How much income tax rather do you owe? So you're still going to start at this off with $55,000, but I have to take the $10,000 off before I figure out my taxes. Notice that drops me down to a different tax rate. It's 25%. So I take that 45,000 and I times it by 25%, and so I owe $11,250. Question 3 says that if your taxable income for the year is $55,000 and you have a $1,000 in tax credits, how much income tax do you owe? Well, you don't need to redo this whole thing. You know that what the answer is right here. Whatever your answer was for number 1, you would put down here minus $1,000. Okay, minus $1,000, because credits come off after taxable income. Question 4, it gets all fancy on you. It says if you have $55,000 in income and you have a $10,000 tax deduction, that puts us back at $45,000. And then you have $1,000 in tax credits. How much do you owe? Remember, we're going to take our $45,000, we're going to times that by 25%, and then we subtract $1,000 tax credit. So for question 4, we owe $10,250. Is the tax structure described in the table above progressive, or proportional? I'm paying more in taxes with as my income increases. So that means that it's a progressive tax. Okay, if it was regressive, the highest tax rate would be on the lowest earners, and the lowest tax rate would be on the highest earners. And if it was proportional, it would be the same for all earners. Okay. Question 6 is asking if a politician seeking re-election promised a tax cut for everybody, what would the politician have to cut to keep that promise? Well, just think about this, you guys. What are taxes used to pay for? Okay. And if you're bringing in less taxes, what would you have to cut? Should be pretty obvious. Just skip 7. 7, it's not that it's a bad question. It's just that it's asking you to go and look at what could you find, what would the tax rate be that would be less than $10,250. The answer is around 22.7% because it says round to the nearest tenth. But I just don't think it's worth your time, honestly. I mean, but if you're not watching this video, then you get to do it, and you think you have to. So there you go. All right, question 8 through 10. It says assume that income up to $90,000 is subject to Social Security tax, and that income over $90,000 is not subject to tax. Also assume that the Social Security tax rate is 6%. Write your answer on the lines provided. So it says if your income is $150,000, how much Social Security tax do you have to pay? Well, it tells you that it's only the first $90,000 are subject. So it's not the full 150, it's just 90,000. So I take my 90,000, multiply that by 6%, and I have to pay $5,400. Okay, so what percentage of my income is 90,000 out of 150? It's 60%. Okay, you can do the math if you don't believe me, but it is 60%, and you should do the math honestly. So if your income is $50,000, how much Social Security tax do you pay? So it's still the same. I mean, it's 50,000, and it's still 0.06, so it's $3,000. Okay, what percentage of your income do you pay in Social Security taxes? Well, you pay 100% up to $90,000. This person didn't make $90,000, but it's still 100% of their income. This person, it was 60% of their income. This person, it's all of their income. Okay, why? Because you're taxed up to the first $90,000. This person never reached it. This person exceeded it. So it says, is this Social Security tax structure regressive, progressive, or proportional? And then explain. Okay, it's definitely not a progressive tax. Like the more you make, the more you pay. Remember, it's up to $90,000 of your income is taxed. Then that's it. Nothing past that. So you can either come up as is it regressive or proportional, and then you have to explain your answer. And if you understand what regressive and proportional are, you'll be able to ascertain what the answer is, and then give me a reasonable explanation as to why you chose that. So there you go. Thanks a lot. See ya.